I'm inclined to think that the scientific dictatorships of the future, and I think there are going to be scientific dictatorships in many parts of the world, that if you can get people to consent to the state of affairs in which they are living, the state of servitude, the state of being, well, it seems to me that the nature of the ultimate revolution with which we are now faced is precisely this, that we are in process of developing a whole series of techniques which will enable the controlling oligarchy, who have always existed and presumably always will exist, to get people actually to love their servitude. People can be made to enjoy a state of affairs which, by any decent standard, they ought not to enjoy. And these methods, I think, are a real refinement on the older methods of terror, because they combine methods of terror with methods of acceptance.
It's so simple. I think that within 20 years, when you get born, you will get a chip.
London's congestion charge system has 700 cameras which use number plate recognition. It is designed to charge people who drive into the centre of town during peak times. But, in an example of function creep, the police want to link these existing cameras with the police national computer. And it isn't just London. A reported 3,000 cameras are currently being installed on a nationwide rollout of number plate recognition systems. And they won't just be monitoring criminals. The system will log the time, date and location of every car which passes its cameras. A national computer centre will scan up to 35 million number plates every day and keep the information for 2 years. And the police want to extend that to 5.
What we've moved away from is this idea, in a sense, that you should only target those that you have reasonable suspicion of. And we've moved to a point where we're saying everybody is suspicious and we have a right to target everybody.
Using a pre-programmed profile, the software will decide if what the camera is seeing is normal or abnormal. The makers claim it will identify potential criminals by their behaviour.
For call centre employees, there's no escape from prying eyes. Call Media makes technology to monitor every moment of the working day.
From the time they log on to the time they log off, all of their time in the day is monitored. Well, this screen here, for example, is showing a breakdown of agent activity.
Now, I've a file here of a 2-month activity. This is where the surveillance went on one individual, and they don't tell employees that they do this either. It's Big Brother watching you, and Big Brother watching every move you make.
Stockwell Park High School in South London has over 100 CCTV cameras around its site, and there's practically no place for its students to hide, with a constant reminder that someone's always watching.
But what's different here is they've taken it one step further and put the cameras in the classrooms.
Each class is equipped with 2 cameras situated at the front and rear of the room. Microphones record the audio content of the lesson, and all the material is stored on a hard drive kept under lock and key in a room next to each classroom.
cell phone users beware, Big Brother may be listening. The Federal Bureau of Investigation can now hear everything you say, even when the cell phone is turned off. I know it sounds kind of out there, but using your phone's tracking device, authorities can now activate the microphone inside the dreaded thing, allowing them to eavesdrop on you and your conversations.
Please look into the mirror. Please move back a little.
The government is planning to spend at least £5.4 billion on the most comprehensive database of personal information ever created by a government, the National Identity Register. To get a card, you will need to submit 49 pieces of personal information, including biometric data like fingerprints, 3D facial recognition, and even iris scans. The cards are voluntary at the moment, but eventually you're going to need a new passport, and that's when the system becomes coercive. To get one, you will have to provide the same 49 pieces of personal data for the National Register, or you're going nowhere.
Fingerprint identification, and now pupils at a school in South Tyneside are now to have their fingerprints taken in the dinner queue as a way of paying for their meals. Brinkburn Comprehensive is only the second school in the whole country to introduce the system.
21st century technology. You don't need cash to eat a school dinner here. Once the machines read the fingerprint, the child's meal is charged to an account.
It's a radio frequency identification, or RFID tag. The same technology used to tag animals to help reunite a pet with its owner. RFID has now won Food and Drug Administration approval for use in humans.
At the Baja Beach Club, there's a new attraction for clubbers. It means they have no need for cash or cards. It's an amazing little device, which can mean there's no need for proof of ID or money to get in. It can all be done with tiny computer chips, implanted in the flesh of clubbers' arms. For clubbers with a chip, no cash is required, and getting in is simple. And there's another benefit. When buying drinks, instead of paying with money, they can simply have the chips in their arms scanned.
It's so simple. I think that within 20 years, when you get born, you will get a chip.
We're going to be talking about cash, or rather the lack of cash. Cup of coffee and newspaper on the way to work, a sandwich at lunchtime. We carry around a lot of cash to pay for all these transactions. What would you say if you could pay for all these things by simply touching a card to a reader? From September, major banks, including HSBC and Halifax, will be issuing bank cards which allow you to do that.
The tap-and-go technology can even be built into watches or phones, making for a much quicker trip to the corner shop.
If PayPass takes off here, there'll be a lot less cash around, and eventually there may be no need for it at all.